I am not a fan of the preseason, though.
You're not?
I recognize it as a necessity to the playing of the season, but I could give a damn about watching these games.
I've watched I'm a 76ers fucking stan. I've maybe watched 5 or 6 minutes total. Out of
Because
games.
it's like you said. I mean, there's guys that'll be playing that are not going to be on the team. There's guys like, the whole thing is what do you bring to the actual Sixers? Are you good enough to be in the rotation? Do you perform consistently in a role in the rotation? And that's not what the preseason's about.
And I only wanted to watch for 2 guys just for that same reason, just to see if I can, because Jaden Springer and Paul Reed. Paul Reed is a guy who's looking to get be a bigger part of the rotation. A guy actually from right here, Central Florida, Paul Reed, and and he's supposed to be. The coach is giving him a green light to shoot threes. So I wanted to watch and see, and he's taken quite a few and hasn't made any. But
he's 0 for the preseason from 3-point range.
Yeah, he's over.
That's terrible.
But they think he can make it, and I think so. I think so too, because he shot a fair percentage in the G League. Now, not here to talk 76ers, even though James Harden didn't report to practice. Matter of fact, maybe we can just open that up because the news today is he didn't report to practice. He's only been in one scrimmage so far, so he's only been to practice 1 day so far throughout this off season. They asked Embiid about it today. He's like, well, maybe he has something better to do. I thought that was hilarious. Then you have Daryl Morey, who came out and says it's the Clippers' fault. They're not being serious. It's some term he used, but basically he's saying they're not being serious about wanting to make a trade.
Not negotiating in good faith.
Yeah, and just as usual. I mean, we just a shit show, and opening the season in a shit show is just something that Tyrese Maxey was on the JJ Redick show. I don't know if you caught that.
I did catch some of it. That's
and
really good.
Maxey was just like, it's kind of normal now. I mean, because ever since we drafted Maxey, I mean, there's just been crazy storylines, outside of him, of course, with the Ben Simmons thing, James Harden thing, coach, and all of that. That's always something.
What I loved about the piece on the Redick podcast was like Maxey just kind of telling you what it's really like. It's like okay, when we set up to play, and it's like without him, I know I'm gonna have the ball in my hands a lot. I'm gonna have to make certain types of plays. When he's there, I'm gonna be off the ball more, and I have to adapt my game to that. And it's really like fascinating. And he had Cam Johnson in there a couple weeks ago, and when you listen to like real professionals talk, and Maxey's a rising star, but these are not top tier stars, either one. When they talk about basketball, I mean, it's deep. Like the things that they're thinking about, processing, working on, it's fascinating, it's intriguing, and they are very self-aware of what they do, what they can't do, and I love that. And I've always felt that like true professionals have a very good handle on what they are and what they aren't. And you don't have a lot of delusion. The lower down you go, the higher the delusion gets. I'm very big on that. I think that at the highest level, the game sorts it out. You can either do these things in an NBA game or you can't. And if you can't, you got to find the couple things that you can do and bring those to the table consistently and stay in your lane. And certain guys, and I think Maxey, and it's fascinating because he's a player on the rise, but it's still evolving for him, and it's conditional on who's on the roster.
Yeah,
he's not reached that elevated point where it's just like, I'm that guy. I come and we play basketball the way I play basketball. No, it's like if certain guys are here, you're going to play one way, and if they're not here, the floor is yours. Go for it. I think I would favor. If I'm Daryl Morey or the Sixers or anybody with the brain in that organization, I would just sequester him. I would tell Harden, just stay away. You're not welcome here. And one of two things are going to happen. Well, one of three things are going to happen. You're going to sit at home. That's where it's going to start. You're either going to come to us and say that, hey, you really do want to play basketball right now and you're all in. Or, we might or might not work out a trade. But it's going to be a trade favorable on our teams. And otherwise, you sit in mothballs. Go work out, go to the strip club, do whatever you want to do. It's at this point, it's your career. This is the tail end of your career. Because if you don't make something happen this year, you fade into irrelevance. And there's a lot of people that don't really respect your game and you anyway. And you'll be one of those dudes that's going to be forgotten in 5 years.
Yeah, and you lose a year.
Some random guy on TikTok's going to be, James Harden was a bad motherfucker. And throw up some stats. And the rest of the people are, oh, yeah, well, I didn't win anything. For real, that's what it is.
I've been 50-50 on it. I wouldn't mind. I think it may be better off for the team if they were to do that. To just say, hey, yeah, don't report and allow Maxey.
Because you take this story away. You take this thing. You're a week away from the regular season, and oh, hey, he missed practice. He played 5 minutes. Like, who gives a damn? You take the story away.
A part of it is the problem I have is he's the only point guard on the roster. Maxey is just not a point guard. You love him to death. He's just not. Yeah. And we will suffer without that. And this fucking my whole thing with Ben Simmons was I was saying even though you could say he's a point guard, not a point guard, he's the only guy on the fucking roster that can do things with the ball and get other people the ball.
Right.
And I'll be goddamned we're in the same fucking situation where he's the only fucking guy on the roster that you feel comfortable with the ball and getting other people the ball.
And in their own way, both guys are essentially refusing to play.
Yeah, and how can a professional basketball team continuously trot out a 15-man roster every year with could make an argument the most important position on the fucking court? You only have one guy that can do it, and the one guy is disgruntled and whatever. But anyway, that's what I struggle with. But if he's gonna be there and but not be there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then why the fuck be there?
That's where I'm coming from.
He's
giving you every sign he doesn't want to be there.
Of course.
He's playing like hardball in his own way. But whether my team is going to be a 60-win team or a 40-win team, I don't want that around.
Yeah.
That's too much aggravation. If I'm Nick Nurse, I don't want to deal with it.
That's a new coach.
Send this guy home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want him near the facility. I don't want him to be able to attend a game.
Yeah.
Just get him the hell out of here.
And
he's a distraction.
And I'd rather my team, I'm leaning more towards that, and I'd rather my team grow as the season grow to understand what we need to do to overcome that, weakness on our team, rather than he's here sometimes, he's not there sometimes. Then Maxey's got the ball in the head, now he got the ball. And let's grow with the team and let Maxey have his growing pains. We weren't getting out the second round this year any fucking way because we have James Harden, because we have Tobias Harris. So fuck it,
Yeah.
Let this be Maxey's growing point guard year, and if you get lucky and get a trade, you do it. If not, let him sit in the strip club.
And I really, again, you like this is the potential bite back to player empowerment. Is like, we'll put you on ice, dude. We're not going to care. We got plenty of money.
The problem is,
here's the thing:
the top player should have the empowerment. James Harden, there's no room for empowerment for him.
But the problem is like, he was a top player, and he's fallen off the cliff. And those are the guys that are, like, in a lot of ways the most problematic.
Yeah,
is the guys that reach that elite level and they're really great, but then they're on the downside. They still command so much in the CBA with the money, and their quality is diminishing, and you've got a real problem. But I think that's where you kind of start. You leverage their legacy. That's what you start to do. Dude, I'll go home. You're not going to play. You're not going to accumulate stats. People are going to forget you're in the league by the time we're in February.
Yeah, because the league doesn't need you.
Yeah,
at all.
We don't need you.
Yeah,
we got beat by the Celtics without you.
Yeah,
or with you.
With it.
You've gotten in your whole history. That'd be a fun conversation to have. Like, literally, call him in and just say this shit right to his face. Like, literally, just say this right to his face. Like, and I'm gonna walk out, and if the media asks me what's what, this is what I'm gonna tell them. I'm giving you the courtesy of telling you now. But this is the Sixer position.
Yeah.
And you know, whatever. Maybe he grovels back and says, man, I want to hoop. And he, you know, whatever. But if he doesn't, like, dude, just shit on him. Just take the X-Lax and let it go.
Now, another storyline is Klay Thompson. He really wants the max. He wants a new deal, and Golden State is being very reluctant to meet his terms, and he's not happy with it. He's not happy about it, man. And Klay is a guy we could see the difference. And after post injuries, he's just not the same guy. Klay Thompson was, top 2, top 3 two-way player in the league. Arguably a top 5 shooter of all time in his own right. Yeah. Pre injuries, and he's just not the same guy. Even if, first of all, he's not the same shooter, but he's still a good shooter in the NBA. The problem is he doesn't have that two-way effect.
Right.
He's not as an effective as a defender as he once was. And you just can't throw around max contracts like that at these guys, even though they're part of the fabric of your organization. And I think Golden State is being smart about it. And Klay has been unrealistic. But he sees Steph getting re-up again, and they just re-up Draymond again. And he's seeing all these. Andrew Wiggins got the money, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, this is, the CBA is going to turn into the player's worst enemy. And again, it's backloaded. The max for a player of Klay's years of service is absurd. And there is no question. Take away 2 massive injuries, he'd still be a player in decline due to age and mileage. That's just a fact. Now you throw in 2 major injuries, and there's no question the decline is expedited. There is no rational argument to say that Klay Thompson is worthy of a max salary under the CBA. It's a joke to think that. And he personally is maybe offended or whatever, but get over yourself.
Yeah.
There's no way you could say that. And I love Klay Thompson. I think he's an NBA treasure. But I can't say that he's the same player he was. And to me, like, I don't even, like, commercially, LeBron and Steph are probably the only 2 players late in their career worth the max. I don't even think KD is truly worth the max. KD does not have the same level of, like, commercial appeal that those other guys do. LeBron and to a lesser degree Steph are stories, like, by breathing, and that the commercial attachment that you have to that, and the fact that, like, the Magic are probably going to sell out when the Lakers and Warriors play their one game on here each time because of those 2 people. I don't know that you could say that for a whole lot of other people, particularly people that are 35 plus in the league.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. But I'll be
curious. I wonder how old Kyrie Irving is, because I think he still has that appeal for whatever reason. I know he's a show. I know he's, people love to see him play basketball when he is playing basketball. But I think he's a guy still worthy of a max, and of course he just got it.
I don't think he's worth a max at all. Because you have to look at him a different way.
In a different way.
You have to look at him and say the reality is
he
does not. But pure basketball, he doesn't play enough. He misses too many games to be worth max money.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on it. I think it's close enough to where it's not Looney Tune for a team to give it to him. Is what I'm saying.
I do, because I think I define Looney Tunes as, will you regret this decision before the contract runs? And I 100% think they will.